after the operation.
But they put a bandage on.
No, that was security. They put bandage on.
They put
Yeah.
bandage on. Which
To,
means they're going to
at
put
least
bandage.
one day, 24 hours they keep bandage so
Yeah.
that it does not, do not strain your eyes.
But the dark glasses are
Dark
also
glasses.
for nighttime.
Huh.
So you don't hit yourself in when you're sleeping.
So this is for little protection of the, because it is very sensitive then
Yes.
and happens, so they keep intentionally
Yes.
patched so that, and also say don't lie down on the right, not on the left, on the flat.
Yes.
But in darkness, in ignorance, you can do that. So put on pillow on the right side so that you don't bend. Left side another pillow. But inadvertent, your hand does not scratch.
They put the hard. They're going to give me hard glasses.
Hard glasses.
Hard to keep on at night.
Oh, that's some.
Oh, there's everybody.
Come. The books.
Yes, I got the complete works, all 9 volumes. I'm
Wow.
so happy.
I just bought it?
I just bought them.
Oh.
Isn't it great?
The old
How much they costed you?
They were on sale.
How much?
So $29 for all of them.
Ah, good.
Isn't that a good deal?
paperback?
I also have them.
Paperback.
When I bought them from Bellarmont,
Uh-huh.
I carried them home because I wanted to buy from there.
Oh,
But it's on my Kindle.
Yeah.
yeah.
The whole thing is on my Kindle.
Yeah.
$25.
I know. I do that too, but then I have, there's something about having a
Ah,
book and being able to
holding.
go
Yeah.
back and forth. And
Yeah.
I have a hard time. I have like 400 books on my phone, on my
Yeah.
Kindle.
Yeah.
No.
But it's, and it's wonderful because I'm carrying 400 books. But
Oh.
Yeah,
you can just read them. You can't study them or I don't know. I have a harder time.
I do good with mine.
Do you do good? Yeah, you probably
Of
have
course
that
I
kind
have
of brain.
Yeah. So, whatever way, of course, because holding a book in hand is something different.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we get accustomed. We were habituated one way. Okay, so we'll.
When will the new nine books come out? The
Oh,
ones- the ones
that
that,
will be. I do not know when. It will take few years maybe.
What?
This book, what is now continuing?
I think it's
Yeah.
up now.
No. So this is what is continuously going on.
Yeah.
Added the 9th volume
This
because no,
Or the complete
what you
work?
purchased.
Oh, okay.
9th volume was added, and our Prabhrajika Brahmaprana, who was in his now Dyalas, she worked on that because those are the late material which came.
Oh.
As the materials are newly coming from different sources, from suppose you get one letter from
So there'll be
somewhere.
more?
Now what they have done after receiving all these, they will rearrange the whole thing,
Yes.
and it is all scattered. Some book of devotion lecture is somewhere here, somewhere in another volume, some in another volume. Letters are not in one volume. Letters some here, some in first volume, some in second volume, like that. Not first volume, to fourth, fifth, sixth, like that distributed. Now they want that it should be so organized that the letters may be one, lectures may be chronologically set, date-wise, and editions, different editions sometimes differ in because it was started from Swami Vivekananda's passing away time till today.
Right.
So some typo mistake and some addition, maybe editing somebody has done to clarify little minor editing. Everyone has an idea now.
Yeah.
I'll have to edit something. And when they get the privilege, they do it, but not knowing that it is damaging the tradition.
Right.
It will not matching with the first tradition. And how do you know your English or it is the English of Vivekananda? No. The editing is editing. Will you edit Wordsworth? Because it is old English is that time, old English. Many people may say, editing. Editors have their ego sometimes.
Yes.
And what they do, that is sometimes knowingly or unknowingly, they do that I am doing good. But actually, It sometimes does something. So anyhow, now they are trying to standardize one volume, which will be all digitized and everything, never to change anymore. Remaining the same material,
Yeah.
matching with the original, finding out the original document, and all this taking labor as well. What our Atmo Rupananda Swami did, who was in here sometimes before. And also other Swamis have done work long years. So there almost, there 4-5 volumes have been done, I hear. I do not know when it will come out. That will be the standard volume. That will much organized, because we are not expecting that much material will come now.
Right.
Again for Swami Vivekananda. If it comes, that will have to be put in another volume, small volume. Like the 9th volume came totally new material, which was not in the previously complete, was in the 8th volume. And then gradually material gathered from different sources, from news, some news report came, someone researched into the particular archival things in Los Angeles, someone in New York, and found new material which is in the newspaper. It is there. So they dig into that, found out like that. And one gentleman went to different parts in the world, wherever Swami Vivekananda went, to see if they can find any new material. Like that. Okay. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kangsha Chanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum. We can add up some mantra for every day here. Anyhow, now we are going to the 5 on page 172. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
So this we have finished the other day, the chapter 1, which is of the 9 practices of bhakti tradition. First was Sravana, listening. And we heard about the glories of listening, the glories of the Lord, how it purifies the heart from different references of the Bhagavat, different people, different time, they from Sri Krishna's word, from the saintly word, from the word of Prahlada, the word of some different holy people, as mentioned in the Bhagavat. Now the same Bhagavat, now we'll hear the second part. Second part is Kirtanam. It is called the Kirtanam. Kirtana means, what will be the meaning? Kirtana means singing, but congregational singing. First of all, you go, as you sit in your lecture, Sunday lecture, you listen. Someone is saying, you listen. That is your measure. You are not doing anything. Only you are trying to focus what someone is speaking about, the glories of the Lord and His majesty, His childlike play, whatever you hear from the another person. That person should be holy person. That person should be devotee. So that will encourage your devotion to grow. Second is, you go in a congregation and start singing, dancing, or not dancing, singing. At least you join in tune with the music, congregational music. So kirtan. So now this is the introduction of the kirtan. Who will read? I think Caroline can read what they say. Introduction.
The fifth section deals with kirtana, which means hymning or praising. In Sravana, hearing, the devotee is a passive factor, but in kirtana, he is active. What are technically called kirtanas in the devotional cum musical tradition of India consist of compositions of great devotee musicians like
Tyagaraja.
Tyagaraja, They are sung by highly trained artists with musical accompaniments. Though they are devotional, the science of music dominates them. Music has always been considered a natural ally of devotion in India, but there are various other forms of devotional songs not requiring high musical training, used commonly for collective singing called bhajan and sankirtan, which consist mainly of recitals of divine names and divine attributes, and of brief references to the sportive activities of divine incarnations. Choral singing in simple tunes is the purpose for which these are used.
Choral means what? Choral singing?
Choral, collective, group, choral, like a choir.
Group.
And
Like a choir.
Vedanta.
Like a choir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, please.
These bhajans and sankirtans, sometimes accompanied with simple rhythmic dancing, have always played the most dominant part in the life of the Indian people whenever devotional cults became mass movements. Kirtana, in this sense, is essentially a collective affair, and devotees gather in groups, big or small, for this kind of devotional service. As distinguished from these, there are stotras, or praises, and prayers, which draw more on the poetic art than on the music for their enrichment. So what's the difference?
One is the musical side. One is like chanting. You say,
Oh,
Vasudeva Sutam Devam. This is also a chant, but we are chanting in a not music. It is not music. Actually, music part is not harmonium, string music or flute. It's not important. Important is your vocal, but you are not doing alone, but you are in a congregation. So joint chanting of devotional praise is something that is the probably the idea.
should I continue?
As distinguished from go.
In the fact, Bhagavad.
No. In the fact. In fact.
In fact, the Bhagavata itself is noted for many such stotras or stutis, praises of God, couched in sublime language and rendered deeply meaningful and attractive by the harmonious combination of poetry and philosophy. Vocal prayers in prose of the type we find among Christians can also come under this head. Swadhyaya of the Hindus consisting of loud chanting or recitals of devotional and scriptural texts, and chanting of Sahasranama, Ashtotara, and such other holy texts also come under this head. All these can come under hearing as well, as they can both be heard and chanted. Next, there is the silent repetition of a divine name or a mantra, which stands as a class by itself. It may be justifiable to bring it under smarana or remembrance. In fact, the 9 disciplines of the practice of devotion, though distinguishable upon to a certain extent, do overlap, each one helping the advancement of the other.
When you say that this is 9-fold steps, each one overlaps. Suppose, as it just says, Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means study, personal study. Swadhyaya of the Hindus consists in a loud chanting. Sometimes you read aloud. You are reading this Bhagavad. You are chanting yourself as we chant together sometimes. So you are reading yourself and chanting aloud. And when you read that, you listen yourself. And also, devotional scriptures or text in the Bhagavad, there are many prayers. The gods are praising after certain calamities. The sages are praising Krishna. The devotee is praising. There are very remarkable praises. Gopis are calling upon Krishna and their beautiful, heartfelt, loving prayers. And those have become prayers. People can select. And there are books, different books, where they collect all those, and you can select those verses and chant out loud in a group or in a person. Mantra Pushpam, and that is the Upanishad. You chant like that Shiva Mahimna. That is the part. Shiva Mahimna is a kirtan in that, according to this book. because this Sanskrit poem chanted together. Asitagiri samam shat kajjalang shindu patre surataru varalekha lekhani patra murvi लिखति यदि शारदा गृहीत्वा सर्वकालं तदपि तव महिमानं पारं न जाने. It is just a Sanskrit word, but it has a melody, but it is not song. No one is with the harmonium or with any other, but it is vocal. And if it is done jointly, that is called the here hymn. Listening the hymn. You are listening as you are kirtana. Kirtana is so that is but actually kirtana means that it is mainly music added with some musical tone in it. In South India, they talked about Tyagaraja. Tyagaraja was a very famous musician and added to the devotional music. No, people. It's like in Bengal, it will be like say Ramakrishna used to sing many songs. Like Ramakrishna used to sing the Ram Prasad song, uh, then then Kamalakanta song, and then mystic poets. They have designed certain songs for out of they didn't do it for others. Out of their love, they created something, and that became a song where people sing together and get little intoxication. You can see when Ramakrishna is singing, others are also joining with him. And then they start, and Hare Krishna you go. When they do the Krishna Nam, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Like that, with the drum, singing, sing with the cymbal and singing together, that creates total atmosphere. You forget the world for some time. So that is the best part of it. But only one weak part of that is that when you are off from the song, your mind does not stay in that level. It comes down. It comes down, drops down into the most original as you are before. That's why spiritual practice, everyday meditation, everyday spiritual practice to keep the mind up above. And then you add that, it will help. But only those who do sing and dance, Vivekananda said, they get into high ecstatic emotions, but cannot keep them there. It is difficult for them to hold on to that place.
Very intoxicating kirtan.
Kirtan is very good, but if you have to keep that, you have to keep that level of mind. It maybe it went that high, but when you are in day-to-day life, it should not come down to ground. So it should have some higher level, above normal level. So our attempt should be always that it should not pull us down to the base level. So because we do practice even so many years, still we find our anger is not reducing, our reactions, all these things are still there. So it is not disproving that we have to work hard on that. And you Sahasranama, chanting of Sahasranama. Sahasranama means there Krishna has 1,000 names. Poets have created, mystic poets have created the name.
Everybody has 100 names.
100,
All the
gods, and that means it is glorifying them. Each name signifies some quality. So God has endless qualities. So how to remember? You remember certain name, and the name is associated with certain type of activities, spiritual activities, what has been done. And Ashtottara Nama, Ashtottara is 108. 108. 108 names. That also shorter version. And like the name of Ramakrishna name, they have found out now. Someone has composed 108 names of Ramakrishna, associating with the old, his character, his life, and his name, so that we can think of his name and connect with some higher state.
The Ram Nam, we have 108 names of Rama. It's the whole Ramayana.
No, yeah, that is not Astuttara Nama. Nama will be only. Right. Yeah. Mother Josoda kept the name. What is the? Nanda is the king. When the baby was born, he kept his name as Nander Nandan, child of Nanda. And Jashoda, the mother, she kept the name, what? Jadu. Oh, my dear darling child. No. So each one relates your mind. Oh, Krishna is the baby Krishna, where mother Jashoda. See, your mind is roaming around in this type of spiritual area. Krishna born, his mother is keeping the name and so endearingly calling the baby like this. His father Nanda, the king Nanda, he kept this name. So each name has a related story. So you, by this name, your mind rotates around the glory of the Lord and his different activities in the whole life. So, but all these can be said under hearing. Hearing is a passive thing, and Sankirtan is a active thing. This is the only little difference we can create. Hearing means someone is singing, I am listening to that. Okay? And Sankirtan is our Kirtan. Saturday once a month, Kirtan. What is Kirtan? You see? Sing along. They say sing along. No?
And you
Clap, join, participatory. It is called the better, our term is participatory. So when we participate, we get intoxicated into things more, and we forget our other aspects of our suffering, pain, anxiety, worries, whatever, that gets out. So this is a good spiritual practicing devotion skill. And more important point, what has been meant here, that you cannot strictly say this is this. It overlaps with listening also, because you are first listening the singer who is leading the song, listening. Then you are participatory, and then you are saying that you are singing, and then you are becoming little tuned to that. Sometimes your mind is going to this thought, that thought. So it can be listening, the first part what we have described in the first, and or it may be participatory, would maybe our mind to be kept in awareness of the divine. In so many next few other things will come. 9 practices is the second practice we are talking. Now, Narada on absorption in the recital of the divine excellences as the object of all form of spiritual practices. What Narada is saying here in this verse, that is the recital of divine excellences. If we jointly do the chanting together, recite. That is the object of all form of spiritual practice. So say we do japa mantra, but our personal mantra we don't chant out loud, but generalized mantra we chant. So mantra chanting is also Om Namah Shivaya. What they do? Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Goes on, maybe 10 minutes, 12 minutes they are saying Om Namah Shivaya. So certain practice Om Rama mantra. So they can go on chanting Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. They're going half an hour, 20, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, only one repeating. So this is the mantra repetition. But those are generalized mantra. So that is a spiritual practice. So what it says, wise men have ascertained after due deliberation that the ultimate purpose of austerities, Vedic studies, sacrifices, power of speech, intellectual ability, and practice of charity consist in the attainment of delight and absorption in the description and contemplation on the excellences of the Lord. All the holy people, people of intelligence and excellences, they have ascertained, they have decided, they say, what is this? That the excellences of the Lord, when one can get absorption in the description and contemplation on, when someone is describing the glory of Krishna or Ramakrishna or Holy Mother, in our modern age we bring back, and one gets absorbed into it and gets contemplation, that is the goal. And the goal, how is to be ascertained, attained? Due to deliberations, that the ultimate purpose, we do austerities. Suppose you come here, it is your austerity, driving such a distance with so much traffic, sometimes disgusting. Maybe sometimes you go back. One day, Ashok said that I went back. It's so bad to go back. So, but still you are doing, this is austerity. What is the purpose of this austerity? What will you gain out of it? Gain is that the delight of absorption in the description and contemplation on the glory of the Lord. So, if your mind gets absorbed in thinking of God when you listen, but when you chant, when you sing song in a congregation, if you get that, that is the goal. Goal is this. You see, this is the Bhakti school says, your mind gets absorbed. Devotional school says that. Jnani school would say, you lose yourself in Brahman, your own self. Is it not? The goal is the same. Absorption means what? What is called absorption?
Realization.
Absorption means you get lost into it. Absorb. What is the simple English sentence will mean?
Transformation.
Transformation, or you lose yourself.
Yeah.
I got absorbed. That means you have no outward identity, rather you are absorbed into something else. That means you become in that idea, like a cube. What do you call the sweet sugar cube?
Yeah.
You put into water. What happens? The sugar cube gets absorbed into the water. What does it mean? Absorb means you become part and parcel. Your identity is no more separate. That is the purpose. And that here in this Bhakti school it is saying that that is the goal. But in Vedantic term it is I am that. I, this not this I, but I, what is inside, what is medial me, is that which is in the cosmos. Absorption. The small I is getting absorbed into big I. Samadhi, yogic term. What is yogic term? What happens in Samadhi? And then you get your all the ripples of the mind, all are settled down and it's getting lost into it. Even you are thinking of God, that concept is also lost into the consciousness. So you get Samadhi. Here, the purpose is how we get lost. Simple thing, we get lost into the world and worldly thoughts. It is sometimes so seriously get absorbed into the worldly things that we forget that it is a bondage for us. We will have to do our duties. But that's why Gita suggests detach. Do your duty, detach. But when we really get into it, we forget ourselves into that. But we don't get absorbed that way when we think of God. Look at that. I can easily get absorbed in a movie. I can easily get absorbed in some song. I can get easily absorbed in some what you call the exciting news in the news. Any news comes, sensational news. We get absorbed into it. We get identified with it. But what happens when you go to sit for meditation? Do you get absorbed? If you can get, that is the goal. And that is the, and all our austerities, and we study the Vedic studies, means we are reading the Upanishads, we are sacrifices you are doing, all this, whatever sacrifice you offer it to God, that is sacrifice. Old age sacrifice is something different, but it is not important to think about that. Let us think about our sacrifices, whatever we do for charity, for giving help to others, and do. Power of speech. Power of speech means what you utilize for thinking about divine, and that power which comes out of your speech, and mentioning God or discussing diligently and talking about God. Intellectual ability and practice of charity. All these things consist in the attainment of delight. Absorption is impossible unless we get the delight. We can get easily delighted, which I like it. No? If I don't like and you ask me to do that, it is difficult. It is a pain. It is a suffering. So in God's name, delight should be there and absorption should be there. And that is the goal. And for that, all our austerities, all our reading of the scriptures, and charity, etc. Note, in other words, it is only through continuous practice of these disciplines, perhaps for lives, that man attains to delight in devotional practice. What he is saying, it is very rare to find delight in devotional practice. And when you sit for meditation, your mind will say, let me sit a little more. You're chanting the name. You should let me do little more. I don't want to leave the seat. I don't want to go to talk. This is the sign that you are really getting interested in it. Otherwise, I am going my routine time and routine time over as a duty. That has its own benefit, but that is not that which can give this spiritual joy. An impure mind cannot have that delight. Very straight line. Impure mind cannot find delight in God's name. We do repeat the mantra. That's why meditation and practice becomes dry. And parallelly, if something comes excitement, then we jump out. That's why we doze off when we go to meditate. But when we come out and we get excited in talking. It happens, no?
Swami always would teach by saying, dive deep, go forward. It's always push to
practice. That's why till the dust and dirt of the mind is clear, love for God will not happen. Absorption will not come. We'll find excitement in nonsense things. Some filthy thing in the newspaper, or some filthy thing in some society, someone did something. Chutney. We call chutney. Very exciting. Our sleep, everything runs away. But the same interest, same intensity will come. Same intensity should come in our in our repeating the name. So that is the glorious day. Aye, now our popcorn has come. See, we are excited over it.
You put it on the chair.
Put on the chair. See, and there is so many empty space on your right and left.
Today, huh?
So yeah. So the point, this is the point, that how can we get excited when we repeat the name of the Lord? How we can excited when we read this book? It will just be inner heart will be filled with some joy and delight. No? That is the pure mind. When it will be pure, it will respond in that way. Impure means when it is busy with other things. Don't think impure means something nasty. Impure means it is finding more interest in things which are momentary. And pure means which finds joy in the eternal truth, that which is self-fulfilling. It does not need outside, what you call, instigation. This is our lifelong struggle. We'll have to go on till we achieve that love of purity of the heart. Means one-pointed love for. And that's why it is said, we cannot blame ourselves, our mind. We always blame our mind, but we have not trained our mind. That is the problem. If the mind becomes pure by training gradually, every day, then mind will lean towards God. It must go there. There is no other option. And that is a tremendous delight. Otherwise, look at that. How the sages and saints in the Himalayas, in the cave of Himalayas, doing so much austerity. What is their attraction? Tell me. When there is no square meal, there is no good room to stay, there is no comfortable heater, geyser, water. What is the attraction? So this austerity is, the goal of austerity is to reach that delight.
Swamiji, just listening to you, trying to understand what you're saying, also requires absorption. Because we have to focus our mind.
That is saying, if the mind is ready, anyone says, you will catch it. That listening, it will, I will be just, I am hungry and I want to eat food. That becomes a spontaneous hunger. The mind will be hungry and mind will feel delight whenever this thing is happening. Now, what will happen? You will not like nonsense talks. Ramakrishna used to run away from places. When many people, worldly people, used to gather in his room, Ramakrishna intentionally would leave his room in the clue or a vein that he is going to Mother Kali temple, and he will run away from there. You cannot relish it. If you relish it, then you are not relishing the other thing. You have to just make a clear separation to judge subjectively. You cannot judge others. Others may have some spiritual ideal, I do not know. But judging myself, I will know that when you are doing, what you are liking, what you are disliking. If your likingness comes for your own level of thought, you don't want to listen nonsense. That's why I tell sometimes, you are morning 1 hour, you are trying for your meditation, coming into the temple and sitting for meditation. And as you come out, keep that mood, let it go on. Don't pull that into that garbage level. What is the use? What you did? Why you sat for 1 hour? You sat for 1 hour to lift your mind from other level, and you didn't get any opportunity. Allow the mind to just go. So this is a practice. No? This is only to understand that which is not spiritually benefiting. And we are doing opposite thing. You are spending 1 hour for meditation, and in split second putting down into the high, loud, outside, all worldly thoughts and ideas. Give some time. Keep that mood go for some little longer, so that you will be absorbing that mood. That's why Swami Brahmananda, in the Eternal Companion, he says, after your morning meditation, don't leave the seat immediately. Read some devotional text, chant some bhajan or prayer, and try to keep that mood go on and don't disturb. Otherwise, your effort, you did that effort and you are just destroying the effort, result of effort. No? So this is a warning how to develop more purity in the heart. Okay, now second verse 2 and 3. Vain are the words and purposeless the narratives that are not concerned with the Supreme Being. No? If it is not talked about God, it is not referring to page 173. And you are not talking about the Supreme Being. That's the point. We have already heard many times. This word, if you don't talk about God, it is like the croaking voice of the frogs. Frogs' voice when they the whole night we were born in villages, the whole night in the winter season, a rainy season, it will be disturbing your sleep, and it's not a very melodious tune. The tune is not very melodious.
No.
So what you talk all day, minus God, it is like that. That should be
That's a nice analogy.
Bhagavad Gita. It is this book has given. So, but we find we are not aware that what am I talking? That's why our Tadatmananda Swami was there. He used to always say that before you say, try to understand, is it good? It's good for you. Is it beneficial for you? Is it bringing any good to anyone? If not, stop. What's the need? You need not have to say everything. If it brings any good to yourself and brings any benefit to others, then talk those things. Otherwise, the whole world is full of that. Why you are adding that more to that? So, awareness. This is the awareness. We have to. That does not mean you stop your business talk. Those are essential. Those are duties. What is essential? How much essential talk? How much non-essential? And when you reserve our speech, that is a powerful speech. Become powerful. Those people, suppose in the meeting or somewhere, you will find that people, they are not talking much. They are observing all this and gives one comment, and it catches more value. Then people are talking for half an hour. Yeah. Sometimes you get the power. There is a power of speech. Speech behind the speech, there is a power. And when you are thoughtful and you are thinking, yeah, I need not have to comment here unnecessarily. Why? What is important? What is valuable? So in spiritual, as a spiritual student, we all are. So our attention should be how we can make our life more fruitful by using our power of speech in glorifying the Lord. Or when we are talking to each other, let us talk about something which will inspire us to think a little deeper. And so that our love for God grows little more and more and more. So that will be spiritually benefiting. So it says, vain are the words and purposeless the narratives. The whole day we say so many words. We narrate so many stories and incidents that are not concerned with the Supreme Being. They are vain. For a spiritual seeker, I don't compare it to the worldly people. We are sincere. We want to be spiritual. For us, this is to be listen. Don't people may say, hey, the world will stop tomorrow. I'm not talking. Go on with no. We don't want to stop. Stop the world. The world is not so stopped. We are monks. Still, I cannot stop talking nonsense things. So it is so hard. But the question, the whole world will change in one day. As if I say, hey, don't talk anything wrong, then tomorrow everything will stop. It's not happening so. So very difficult. Even many people will dislike this idea itself. But you have to understand it's vain. Why? Our life is short, no? In this short span, how can we be benefited, spiritually benefited, and how I can be established in my inner, absorbed in my inner joy? These are all methodologies to be aware that I should speak only which is beneficial for me and good for others also. For your duty, for your responsibilities, those are okay. Do that. If you don't do, then you are also not responsible. There you should be balancing. But next, that indeed is true, that auspicious and virtuous, which brings into prominence the excellences of the Lord. Huh? That means that type of talk, that type of words, that type of chanting, that type of praising the Lord's name, that will be indeed is true. What? Why is true? And that is the auspicious, and that is the virtuous. What? Which brings into prominence the excellences of the Lord. Your word, your talk, your words should be glorifying the Lord. Your words would express God. Say Rabindranath Tagore, mystic poet, whatever he says anywhere you find how it is manifesting the glory of God. His poems, people call these romantic poems, this, that. I don't find anything as such. All the poems you can put the sense, God there. And it's so wonderfully expressed. So that is the excellence of the Lord when it is comes. Indeed is true that auspicious and virtuous, that is virtuous, which will bring into prominence the excellence of the Lord. God's glory should be manifested in your heart. There will be the feeling of the presence of Lord. That is called actually the real speech. Only such words and writings as to proclaim the glory of God can assuage the sorrow of men, enthuse their minds perpetually with joy, and stimulate them with ever renewing interest. To only such words and such writings. So you should have to write, you want to write something, write such things. Or you want to say something, say such words that glory of the God of the Lord. That can remove the sorrows and suffering, because our heart is full of different types of cravings, desires, failures, frustrations, and our miseries and suffering is all stored here. To get out of that, how to fan it out with the positive thought. So that's why our meditation is a positive thought, bringing positive thought and removing the negative thought. We inhale the oxygen to throw away the carbon dioxide. No. Yeah. So it is the question to bring new thought, bring divine thought, so that these all other thoughts which are dissatisfactory afterwards, which does not bring the inner absorption, to avoid that. As a student of spirituality, we will have to pay attention. You need not have to tell this advice to anyone else outside. They will not listen. Not only they listen, they will. It is not for them. If I want to be like that, what I want, this is very good instruction for a sincere student of bhakti or sincere student of spiritual life. This book translated these two verses this way. Prophets and poets have said that the unfailing fruit of man's religious penance, sacrifices, learning, wisdom, and charity is his giving himself up to the praising of the excellences of God of the highest name. And second verse, what we read, and third verse. Second verse says, those words are uttered in vain. That talk is wicked, which do not relate. Adhokshaja means Lord Vishnu. We will say, don't talk anything but spiritual talk. So he's saying, these words are uttered in vain. That talk is wicked. See, what a strong word. It is wicked. It says that Misha Girastva. Misha means vain, false. He asati Asati asat katha. Oh, it's giving a very bad Sanskrit. Asati means unchaste, who is not a chaste wife. That type of.
Which word is that word?
With the first line, Mrisha, in the second, third verse, first Sanskrit word. Mrisha means false or vain. Gira means the words.
Gira means what?
Word. Twa means yours. Your words are vain. And he asati asat katha. Asati means, asati is Sanskrit word. Asati means those who are not women of character. Asati. Or
because it's a
female. Asat katha. And this is, sat katha is holy words. Asat katha is impure words. Asat katha. Nakathyate, when you don't speak. Jad Bhagavan Adhaksaja. Your words are, you are not speaking about Adhaksaja means Krishna, about the Lord Narayana, about Krishna, about Ramakrishna, about Mother. Talk about that. That when you don't talk, then you are behaving like asati, unchaste. You are behaving like a false vain. Vain talks. It's very, very strong words. Bhagavat has used these words. That is true, blessed. That is true. On the opposite way, Tadeva Satyam. Next line. That is the truth. Tadeva Satyam. Tadu Ihoiva Mangalam. That itself is Mangala, auspicious. Iho eva, here and now. When you talk about God, when that moment you talk, where you talk, time and space, that brings Kalyan. Mangal means auspiciousness, here and now. Ihoiva Mangalam, Tadeva Punnam. That is the auspiciousness, that is the holiness. Bhagavat Gunodayam. When you are talking about Bhagavat Guna, the good. Guna means the qualities. Bhagavat, God. Bhagavat Guna means the glories of the Lord. Guna, the characteristics, the divine characteristics of the divine. That means let your mind, let your speech, you restrain in such a way that it will, I will not speak other thoughts, other things. We are talking, we did whole life. We are done, 75 years I have done all this nonsense. But still I am doing. So it should be always speaking holy thoughts. It should talk only God. Then it is meaningful. Otherwise I am living an unchaste life. That is the description. I am a liar. I am lying whole day. Because I am a seeker of truth. If you are not a seeker of truth, do whatever you like. It does not matter. Because you are not a seeker of truth. These formulas are for who wants to be absorbed in God and have understood God is the reality, at least intellectually. The practice, what is the practice? You want to prepare a good meal. Recipes are there. But you have to know how to cook the food. You have to be absorbed in that. If you are not interested, those who are not interested, then you don't have to hear all these things. It's a wastage of time. At the same time, our life is wastage because we are talking only of garbage. We are not talking what should be our life-giving, blissful identity with inside. So restrain the mouth. Talk whenever it comes. No, okay. The same formula as I said. At least I appreciate that statement. Is it beneficial before you talk? Is it good? Is it bringing spiritual welfare to you and to the person you are talking? Is it bringing a spiritual atmosphere there at that point? So these are the awareness should be made. So here he says, those words are uttered in vain. That talk is wicked, which do not relate to Vishnu. That is true, opposite way. That is true and blessed and worthy speech, which gives expression to the excellences of the Lord. And then the last verse, Tadeva Rammam, that is lovely. Ruchiram is very new. Navang Tadeva, it is the constant festival of the hearts. No? Shashyato Manaso Mahotsava, it is the festivity of your heart. when it dries the ocean of grief. Tadeva Shukarnava Shoshanam. These words, the holy message, but holy thought, holy mantras, holy chanting. Let us spend day and night in this type of thing. You want to talk? Memorize the Gita. You want to talk? See Narada Bhakti Sutra. You want to talk? Read Holy Mother some book. And why not talk about that?
Talk to whom?
Whoever we are all friends. We are the friends. That's why it is our responsibility to find such friendship.
There are very few.
Very few. That's why there is very few you see who are here. But it is our responsibility. If we don't do, it gets delayed. Spiritual life is not progressing because of those. Because time is short, we say, but we are not utilizing the time and not putting in proper perspective. Natural tendency that you say, if you want to talk about that, you will not find friend. Ramakrishna used to say,
What did he say?
you don't find friend like that. Sri Ramakrishna said that Ramakrishna is searching for such people, no? And when that some young boys used to come, Ramakrishna, of course, who came to Ramakrishna? Many young people came, but out of that, these few, 16, they are the chosen. But he is talking about to them, to inspire them. They know there is a ghost. And the ghost, after death, he is alone. He is roaming around. He wants one friend. So anywhere someone is falling down, he runs there. Probably he is dying, so he will be my ghost. Ghost friend. But he gets up and goes to a hospital and gets cured. Finish. Then someone falls there or is a heart attack. He runs there and soon he gets cured. So he said that like the ghost, I am trying to get a friend. And when I talk about this, anyone comes, after some days, they say, oh, I have my mother, I have my duty, I have my father, I have my responsibilities, so I don't get a friend at all. So it is the frustration of Sri Ramakrishna also.
You know, Swamiji, I'm talking about my family. They are very fine people. They are very, very intelligent, very well educated, and they don't want to hear about Vedanta. I'm almost like they're almost like my enemy. They just don't want to share.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's happened.
Yeah.
Suppose we are born in a family. Look at that. All the sadhus are born in their families. And the atmosphere they born, they didn't like that atmosphere. So they wanted to come out to the monastery. In the monastery also you will not find that all are in your tune. You have to find out of the monastery one or two who you may like, who will be up to your own level, or will relish each other talking about God. So very, very rare. That's rare. Very rare. And no one will recognize you, and you will not talk about it. Even coming to the monastery or attending to spiritual talks and things. Young people, when they come, I see their friends, they criticize them. They say, you are becoming spiritual, huh? Come for the party. You don't come for the party, weekend party. They say, no, I cannot go. I'll go to the Gita reading or something like that. And naturally, they are criticized. So they are in a difficulty, which side to go, this side or to make a balance there, sometimes go there, sometimes come there, because they will have to live in the society. But as a devotee of God, this is the point. Compromise is necessary, but how far? At the cost of your own spiritual life, how much you will do? So these are the things to be understood. So it is lovely. It is lovely with this talking about God or absorbing in God is lovely. It is ever new. It is constant festival of the heart. It dries the ocean of grief. The praise of the glories of the Lord. So these are the two verses for the time. But just finished. So we end here today. Tadeva Ramam Mrisha Girastva Bhena the words and purposelessly narratives. Jai Ma. So yours is which day?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck.
Next Tuesday.
Yes,
What's
ma'am.
happening to the cataract surgery?
Yeah.
Both eyes at the same
She's doing
time.
at a time. I think that is good if you can manage. Make it a point that don't go out. That
No.
she did. And,
Just water the plants.
and also don't watch your computer or other things, because I did little bit computerized, and then it was hurting me. And they say you can watch television, but I don't watch television. But if you do reading and too much, at least few days should go. Otherwise, you will feel the little pain or little hurting something. But normally I don't feel any other problem. My at least I'm happy that I didn't feel any other difficulties, excepting I did it when I read a little more or did something that started. A few days should go. Then it will be okay. Yeah, towards.
Let me know if you have any change in the schedule, because I'll put it on.
Acha, by the way, I tell you,